Welcome back to my next playthrough series. I'm going to do another scenario in Zombicide Black Plague. Reason being is the introductory one was relatively short, and I had been making a couple of errors throughout that one. Had to do with opening doors. I was using melee attacks. You only use the basic weapon ability for opening doors. And the other thing was ranged attacks. I think I messed up a couple of times. When you do a ranged attack in the same space and you have friendly characters in there with you, they stand a chance of being hit by your misses. So I'm going to do, this is the quest number 1, Big Game Hunting. And the idea here is to take down the Necromancer, find his laboratory, take down the Necromancer, and stop his abomination making. And so I'll quickly read the little summary here for the game, then we're going to look at the characters, and then we're going to get into gameplay. So it says, we quickly discovered the starting point of the zombie invasion. Their survivors spotted a huge zombie wandering the streets and some kind of sick wizard directing the horde to engulf us. It took us 2 days to pinpoint the Necromancer's location and understand the abomination can't be killed by any weapon at our disposal. Let's raid the Necromancer's laboratory and take them both out with a secret brew of our own dragon fire. Let the hunt begin. So that's the setup for the scenario. So under one of these red X's is a blue color. That is the Necromancer's laboratory. I'm not quite sure if I get everything in the screen here, but, well, pretty close. So there's X's sort of all over the board. I think there's 7 of them total. I'm not going to go over the rules. We'll see them as we play. But we are going to take a look at the characters. This time there are 2 crypts. There's the yellow crypt, accessed by these doors. There's the blue crypt, you can't quite see over here, accessed by the other kitty corner of the board. And there is a random artifact in each one. I do have expansions, so I have 8 artifacts total. I'm not quite sure what they are. I shuffle them up, and 1 in each. If you just have the base game, then you're just going to end up with the 2 that come with the base game. I think the NPC 1 and 2 packs come with 2 extra, or 2 or 3 extra artifacts. So there we go. All right, that's kind of the setup. Of course, I have our characters here in the starting spot. No zombies on the board, but all the doors set up. And let's take a quick look at our characters. Again, not going to spend too much time on them. And then we're going to get into some gameplay. And I'm not sure just how well this is going to focus. But first up, we have Nelly. She is going to be our blue player. She's going to be the first player. You probably can't read all the details there. Her starting ability is she gets 1 free move action. And she's starting with the hammer, which does 2 damage. On a hit, rolls 1 dice. 1 die hits on a roll of 4 plus. Next down the chain here, we have Clovis, and he's going to start with a short sword, which is 1 die, hits on a 4 plus, does 1 damage. He gets 1 plus 1 die for melee attack. So instead of rolling 1 die with a short sword, he's going to be rolling 2 dice. Let me readjust the camera, then we're going to look at our last 3. So we get the same 4 that I had characters from Quest 0, but we've added in 1 expansion character, and I apologize, I'm not quite sure which expansion pack it was. I got a bunch of them, but we'll be looking at her very shortly. All right, next up in our character order is Anne the Crazed Nun. Her basic ability is Bloodlust melee, which means she can sprint into battle and hack away at some zombies as 1 action. Of course, every character gets 3 actions. She's also starting with a short sword. Again, 1 die, 4 plus to hit, does 1 damage. Oh, and I should mention, all those weapons so far can open doors on a 4 plus. And they make noise. Again, I don't think I'm going to bother with the noise tokens in the game. I don't think that's going to have a huge effect. I hope it doesn't. I find it kind of fiddly to have to keep throwing noise tokens on the board, taking them off, throwing them on, taking them off. 99% of the time, the zombies always move towards the cluster of heroes, or it's pretty obvious where they're going to move to. So I hope I don't mess up their movement that way, but I don't think I'm going to bother with the noise tokens. All right, and now we're going to get to our new character for this playthrough, and that's going to be Genevieve. She's got a crossbow, and of course, yeah, she's going to be green. So I hadn't mentioned Clovis is red, Anne is yellow. Genevieve will be green. She starts with a short bow, which is 1 die. Hits on a 5+, does 1 damage. And she gets +1 damage ranged. So she's going to be able to do 2 damage with her short bow instead of 1. Oh, and I should mention she can hold a crossbow, hand crossbow up in her armor slot. Anne can hold a dagger. Clovis can hold a shield, and Nelly can hold a dagger. Forgot to mention that, but you could see that from the introduction. Sorry, losing my voice. And so that's Genevieve. And lastly, just going to zoom out here a little bit, and we're going to take a look at, yes, our favorite character of them all, Clovis, the bumbling, or Baldric, the bumbling wizard. He had a horrible time in Quest 0. If you want to go back and watch that playthrough, it was horrendous. He couldn't hit the broadside of a planet. He was that bad. Okay, he can put a short sword up here. He starts with Mana Blast, which is his ranged combat spell, and it's a range of 0 to 1. Only rolls 1 die, hits on a 4+, does 1 damage. And I put this in the wrong place. This should be over here with Spellcaster. Spellcaster means he gets a free spell attack every turn. So that's a pretty cool ability. So he gets 3 actions and a free casting of a spell. So that's our lineup. I don't think we're going to get into any more details of gameplay. Let's just get down to the board. Let's get at it. We got to find that Necromancer. We got to find that Abomination, take it down. Oh, how we win the game is we must kill at least 1 Necromancer, at least 1 Abomination, and uncover all of the red X's on the board. Piece of cake, right? And the scenario, I think, was designed with 6 player characters in mind. We're only using 5, so we're going to have a little bit tougher time of it. Might get overwhelmed, crushed, and killed, but hey, this is Zombicide. What do you expect? All right, let's go to the board, and let's get taking some turns. All right, so let's begin. First up, we have Nelly. Nelly has a free move action plus 3 other actions. So for her free move action, she's going to move 1 space to here. And now beginning with her 3 actions, she's going to try and open this door. And she opens a door with her hammer on a 4+. And we'll see if she can do it. And she rolls a 5. So indeed, she smashes the door down. No problem there. But of course, in doing so, we have an immediate spawn in this room. But we're in the blue zone, so that can't be too bad, right? And, oh, come on. Oh, yes, I forgot to mention I'm adding the Dead-Eye Walkers back in here. So let's see, Dead-Eye Walkers. We get 3 of them. Oh, wow, that's brutal. Those Dead-Eye Walkers, maybe I shouldn't have put them in here. So she bashes open the door with her first of 3 actions, and inside, waiting for her, is a little group of Dead-Eye Walkers. Ouch. Well, she does have 2 more actions, and I think she's just going to do 1 move. She's going to move into the room. She's got 1 action left. She's going to attack melee with the hammer, the Dead-Eye Walker. So she needs to roll a 4+ to kill one of them, and she rolls a 3. So she smashes the door down, leaps into the room, and has a swing and a miss. Okay, that was not exactly what we wanted, but hey, that's what we got. So up next is Clovis. Clovis gets +1 die to his melee attacks. And so wasting no time, he's going to go 1, 2, leap in the room to try to help Nelly. He's going to get 2 dice now to roll with his short sword, and he hits on a 4+, so come on. And he rolls a 6 and a 5, so he is a slaying machine there. So he leaps to Nelly's rescue and destroys 2 of these Dead-Eye Walkers, and that's going to give him 2 experience points. All right, still in the blue. Blue doesn't switch to yellow until you get to 7 experience points. And that was Clovis, right? 1, 2, and an attack. That's his 3 actions. And up next is Anne. Now, Anne has Bloodlust melee. And let me just recheck the rule on that. I don't know if she can move 2 spaces in attack or only 1, but I'll be right back and let you know. Indeed, Anne is a crazed nun. You can move up to 2 spaces and get 1 free melee attack. So for her first of 3 actions, she's going to run like a maniac into this room, of course, and she's going to attack the one Deadeye Walker. Now she has a short sword, hits on a 4+, 1 die, and she gets a 4. So indeed, she runs in there, takes him down like no problem. That is going to be 1 experience point. So that was only her first action. She has 2 left. And I think for her... what is she going to do? I think she's going to explore the token. So we're going to flip it over. It's just a red token. So nothing happens. And that's not the laboratory in here. But she does get 5 experience for that. So that puts her right up to 6 experience. Bordering on the yellow zone. But that's okay. And for her third and final action, she's going to search. We got this huge item deck here. And what does she get for her search? Something good. She gets water. Discard this card. Gain 1 experience point. Well, she doesn't want to do it, so she's going to put that in her backpack. It's not mandatory. She's going to put it in her backpack because if she gains another experience right now, she goes into the yellow, and that's not what we want. All right. That was Anne's turn, so we managed to clean out that room pretty nicely. Over now to Genevieve, our new character. And she has +1 damage ranged. Well, unfortunately, her short bow is ineffective for opening trapdoors or doors. But anyway, she's going to go 1, 2 into the room. She's going to do a search action, and she gets a torch. Excellent. She's going to put that into her hand. So she may be our Dragon Bile lady. And up last in the turn order will be our favorite character, Baldric the Bumbling Wizard. And he has, of course, he has his Mana Blast spell. He cannot open doors either. So he's just going to go 1, 2, follow everyone into the chamber here. And he may as... do we do a search on the very last action? Oh boy. If we get a zombie, then one of us is going to take damage. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I think... yeah, let's go ahead. He's going to search. He's going to be crazy. He finds a bastard sword. All right. So that is rolls 2 dice, hits on a 4+, does 2 damage. You know what? He's going to put that into his hand. So now he has a good melee attack, and he also has a ranged attack. So good stuff, Baldric. Wow, he didn't bumble around that time. That, of course, ends the player's first turn. So the first player token then is going to move over to Clovis. So that means Clovis is going to go next. He's going to go first in the next round. Just reset everything here. And we need to do some spawning now because it's zombie turn. So the zombie turn, of course, the zombies would move and attack, but there are no zombies left on the board. We killed all the Deadeye Walkers in the room. So we just need to go to the spawn points. So how I'm going to do the spawn points, I'm going to do the first one's up here, the second one's here, and the third one's down here. So we'll spawn up here first, second, third, and that's how we'll do it consistently. Alright, so let's go to the top and we're going to spawn our first bunch of zombies in the blue zone. Nobody is in the red zone yet. Alright, so way at the top we're going to pull off a zombie card, and what do we get for spawning in the blue? We get a runner. Okay, well, that's we can deal with that. We get 1 runner here. As I have to find him, 1 runner appears up in this spawn point. So he's got a long way to go to get to us. Let's go this way now, and we're going to spawn our second spawn point. All right, so for the second spawn point, we have 1 walker. Well, that's not too much of an issue. We get 1 walker there, and our last spawn point for the third spawn. So right down here, opposite the room that we're in right now, the last spawn is 1 walker. So far, so good, he says. Yeah, we know what happens with that. All right, going to readjust the camera. I think we're going to do 1 more round of turns here. and then that's probably going to be it for this episode. So let's get readjusting and get moving. Okay, so up first this time is Clovis. Clovis is his first action of 3. He will do a search because we have a lot of time. If a zombie appears, it shouldn't be a big deal. He also finds a bastard sword. That is pretty awesome. So he's going to keep that in his other hand. Now that's 2 dice hits on a 4+. So that's pretty awesome. So he gets the bastard sword. So and he can't search anymore. So that's 1 search per turn, per room, per player. His second action is he's going to try to open the crypt door, and he's going to use the bastard sword to do it, which allows him to open a door. Opens doors on a 4+. So its basic attack is 2 attack dice. So he's going to roll 2 dice. He doesn't get the +1 melee because this is not a melee attack. It's just opening door. That's what I was doing wrong last time, and I apologize for that. So let's roll 2 dice, see if he can crack that open. Needs a 4+. He gets a 1 and 2. So he's not too familiar with his bastard sword. So that was his second action. I guess his third action, he's going to try that again. And this time he gets a 6 and a 4. So he does indeed pop open the, well, not the secret door, the hatch down into the crypt. That's Clovis's turn finished. Up next we have Anne. And because we need more items, we need Dragon Bile. Her first action as well is going to be searching in the room, and she finds plenty of arrows. Okay, plenty of arrows. So she's going to put that in her backpack, and I think she's going to do an exchange with Genevieve, and I just got to quickly check the rules on exchange. So her first action, she found plenty of arrows, and then she's going to do a swap action with Genevieve. All right, so it is indeed an action. So Anne is going to do a trade action with Genevieve. She's going to give the plenty of arrows, and plenty of arrows means you re-roll all ranged attacks once with your melee weapons. So she gives that to Genevieve, who puts that in her backpack, which allows her to re-roll. And then what's going to happen is Genevieve then is going to swap. She's going to give Anne the torch. All right. The next action Anne is going to do is another exchange action, but this time she's exchanging with Baldric. She is going to give Baldric the short sword, and he's going to give her the bastard sword. So we're going to do a swap there. And Baldric is then going to take the short sword and put it up into his armor slot. He's also going to get from Anne the torch. So Anne's going to give Baldric the torch as well. So what happens now? Oh, and she's also going to give Baldric the water. So she gives him the water. So that was a big exchange. So basically Anne now just has the bastard sword. That's it. But Baldric now has Mana Blast, a short sword in his backpack spot, so he can use short sword. He has a torch in his hand, and he has water, which can give him 1 experience point. Anne is finished. Up next, Genevieve. Genevieve's here. Let's continue with the searching. Let's see if she can maybe get a melee weapon. She gets chainmail armor. Okay. I don't know if she wants to give that to someone. She might want to give it to Anne. So she's going to, that's her first action. She puts it in her backpack. Her second action is to do a trade action with Anne. She's going to give Anne the chainmail armor, which Anne then puts on. And then Genevieve is going to move down into the crypt. Well, I'll just put her on the little crypt space, which is off camera, but she is now down in the crypt. That is the end of her 3 actions. Next up is Bumbling Baldric. He is also going to do, for his first action, a search, and he finds, yet again, Mana Blast. Well, he already has Mana Blast, so he'll throw that in his backpack, and he's then going to discard the water, which he can do, to gain 1 experience, and I don't think that's an action. It just says discard to get 1 experience. So that was his first action, searching. His second action, he's going to move down into the crypt. And for his third action, he's going to actually investigate the artifact down there. So we're going to adjust the camera. I'm going to have a look at that. All right, so I put the crypt down here over on the board just for space. So Baldric's third and final action is to take a look at the artifact, and he finds the Dwarven Shield. Oh my god, the text on that is small. My old eye is going to be able to handle it. It says the wearer gets armor, rolls against abomination attacks. Cool. No equipped armor. Armor 4+. No equipped armor. Okay, so you have to hold this in your hand. Equipped armor. You may re-roll, once armor rolls made with the equipped armor. The new result takes the place of the previous one. So this, wow, this is the perfect thing to give to Anne. So he's going to put that in his backpack. And of course, I have to remember it's the perfect thing to give to Anne. Because then she can go and fight, or she can take damage rolls against abominations. So that's to be pretty cool. So Anne's tanking up. Yeah, so we've got some good weapons and artifacts so far. But of course, that was our player's second turn. And so of course the first player for next turn is going to be Anne. But we are then going to go right into... Oh, hang on, we didn't do Nelly. Whoops. Nelly didn't get a turn. All right, because she's last up in turn order this time. So Nelly's first action, we'll stay here on the tomb. Her first action is to search. So she's going to search, and she finds Lightning Bolt. And that's a 0 to 3, 1 die, 4+. So she's going to put that... you know what? She's going to put that in her hand, because she can cast it, but it costs extra. So her first action, her second action is going to move down here to the crypt. Actually, her third action is to do an exchange with, she's doing an exchange with Baldric. So she's going to give Lightning Bolt to Baldric, because it's better than Mana Blast. And Baldric's going to give Mana Blast to Nelly. So Nelly was going to put Mana Blast in her hand. And that is going to conclude, now that I've done it correctly, everyone's turn. So up first in next turn order for the next episode, because we're going to end off here by doing the zombie movements, will be Anne. And yeah, so we're going to have to spawn now. Or so we're going to move zombies first, then we're going to spawn. Okay, I think I can barely get everything in here. So we're just going to do the zombie movement. Most of the noise, of course, the only open door is right here. So every zombie is going to try to get through this door down into the crypt to get to our heroes. So this walker is just going to take one step up here. The runner, of course, moves 2. He's going to go 1, 2 down the street. And this other walker, 1 space this way. Now we're going to have spawning. So we're going to spawn, spawn, spawn. So let's get to the spawn cards. I guess we can do it all long distance here. It doesn't matter. So the first spawn up there, everyone's still in the blue. So we're okay with that. No one. Okay, that would have been standard walker extra activation. But because we're in the blue zone, nothing happens up there. Over on this side, we get a double spawn. Well, double spawn zombies here spawn 2 zombie cards at the next zone. Yes, we love the double spawns. So right down here is going to be a double spawn. The first of the double spawn, we get 1 fatty. Okay, well, we have a couple people that can take out fatties, so not too worried about that at the moment. The second of the double spawns, that is a problem. We get the Necromancer, ooh, and he comes with his own spawn point. And I believe it spawns immediately. I'm going to have to, of course, double check. But we have our first Necromancer showing up on the board right here with the fatty. And that also brings on the board a Necromancer spawn point as well. And I'm just going to double check the rule, because I think it immediately spawns zombies as well. Okay, so yes, indeed. I guess we didn't quite have that in camera. Let's do that now. When the Necromancer spawns, we immediately get a new spawn point, and it also gets a regular spawn. So it gets 1 walker. So that wasn't quite as catastrophic. So we have a fatty, a walker, the Necromancer, another walker. Necromancers only have 1 hit point though, so if we hit them, they're gone. Okay, that's not too bad, I don't think. The other thing to keep in mind is we now have 4 spawn points on the board. If at any time, I think at the end of the entire turn, you have 6 spawn points on the board, including the bonus Necromancer spawn points, you lose the game. So that's not really what we want. All right, well, I'm going to leave it off there. So this is, again, we're doing Quest 1 Big Game Hunting. This is Zombicide Black Plague. And we have Nelly, we have Clovis and Genevieve, and Baldric, and we're trying to find the Necromancer's lair. We are trying to take down at least 1 Necromancer, at least 1 Abomination, and uncover all of the X's on the board to win the game. Alright, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing to my channel if you do. Thanks for giving me a thumbs up to like. I really appreciate it if you do that as well. And I hope you're going to enjoy this series. Of course, this has been out now for a while, but it is a very good Zombicide version. To date, I think it's the best of the Zombicides. I don't have them all, but I have the first 2. I didn't have Rue Morgue, but this one I think is very, very good. So thanks so much for watching along. Join me next time for the continuation of Zombicide Black Plague. We're playing Big Game Hunting.